And joining me now from Cleveland with more on tonight's debate is Philip Crowther, international affiliate reporter for the Associated Press. Philip, welcome back. Always great to see you. As Owen just mentioned, no handshakes tonight, something that we've gotten used to. Give us a sense of what we can expect to see and how the pandemic has influenced the debate's format and also the layout.
Well, I can tell you that I, for one, wouldn't be here without a negative COVID-19 test, and that's the case for everybody who is inside this pretty tight bubble here around the debate stage and the debate arena you see behind me. That's, of course, the case also for anybody who will be inside of that debate hall in a few hours' time when that debate gets underway. Now, I had a look inside yesterday. It does look similar to any other debate stage you might have seen over the last few years, specifically those you saw 4 years ago during the Trump-Clinton debates. But there is one notable difference on stage. The lecterns that Trump and Biden will be using are that little bit further apart, again, because of social distancing and the coronavirus pandemic. As you just heard, the moderator will be Chris Wallace, maybe the moderator, maybe even the referee, in what we expect to be a bit of a battle between these two contenders. It's going to be a 90-minute long debate and probably all sorts of fireworks on stage.
Philip, in addition to the coronavirus, what are some of the other topics that will be covered in the debate?
Well, here is one that wasn't actually part of the planned topics. We got 4 of those beforehand, and that is, of course, those are, of course, the revelations from the New York Times over the weekend. The fact that the U.S. president paid almost nothing in federal income tax during 2 years, $750 in 2016 and 2017, even less in other years. Of course, that is going to be brought up. In fact, the president's team think that that is going to be the first topic of discussion on stage here in a few hours' time. Now, the former Vice President Joe Biden, of course, has many ways of attacking Donald Trump on that front. Will he call him somebody who is, in fact, not a billionaire, as stated many times, of course? Will former Vice President Biden talk about Donald Trump as somebody, a president who is using his own government's system to pay as little tax as possible? Or indeed, will he talk about him as somebody paying less tax than most of his supporters? All sorts of attack lines there possible for Joe Biden. Of course, it's not going to be the only subject matter on stage, but it might make things really dirty indeed. We do expect a bit of a battle between the two, with some personal attacks maybe also from Donald Trump against Joe Biden, as we've heard in the past. You mentioned the coronavirus as one of the big topics. Here's another one. Protests against racial injustice will undoubtedly come up. Of course, also a general economic downturn in the United States. There is no escaping a discussion on that either.
Well, tonight's presidential debate is the first of 3, giving President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden the chance to address each other, finally face to face, and we will all be watching this. Philip, what will you be keeping an eye out for tonight?
I'll tell you what, something that the president has essentially told us to take an eye on is the demeanor of the former vice president. He has been criticized so many times by the president for his lack of mental and physical capacities on stage, that a lot of people will be watching Joe Biden to see if he can come up with a stable performance, if you will. Now, there's a reason why there are questions about his performances on stage. They weren't always good during the Democratic debates, the many Democratic debates that we've seen over the last year or so. Now, here's another thing that's worth looking at. Who's going to be doing the fact-checking on stage? Joe Biden, the former vice president, has said that he was going to be a fact-checker on stage, but that might be a little bit too much for him to do. Will Chris Wallace, the moderator, do that? We'll have to wait and see what exactly happens on stage. And one last thing I'd mention for you is take a look back at the debates from 2016 between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Remember this one thing. All 3 debates were considered to have been won essentially by Hillary Clinton, giving her a further advantage to become president. Of course, none of that happened in the end. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you, if you see a clear winner here tonight, that doesn't mean necessarily that that will open up the way to the presidency.
Okay, we shall see. Thank you so much, Philip. Philip Crowther, international affiliate reporter for the Associated Press. Thank you so much.